Hello, I'm the Commie.
And I am the liberal. And so let you know, everybody, I'll be doing the show from 4 to 5, the first hour. And our father, William Taylor, will be doing the show for the last 2 hours from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And by the way, first of all, if we're going to move on to the climate change, let me continue talking. First of all, if we're going to move on to climate change, we have a hurricane named Ida that's going to make its way to Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Missouri on Sunday or Monday. It's going to make landfall as a Category 3 hurricane on the cities that are right by where the water is in the Gulf of Mexico. It will be Category 3. By the time it makes its way to here in New Orleans, it'll weaken to a Category 1. But even a Category 1 hurricane is too dangerous. Even the Category 1 hurricane is a problem. Even though it's not going to hit New Orleans that bad, it's only going to hit Lake Pontchartrain and the cities right by the water very bad. We're still going to get the most rain out of it. We're still going to get 7 to 10 inches of rain. Very dangerous. And by the way, another thing I also need to tell you right now that Hurricane Ida is in Cuba as well as Jamaica. And it's a tropical storm right now, but it's supposed to strengthen into a hurricane on Saturday, but it's staying where it's at. Hurricane Ida hasn't gone anywhere since Wednesday. And here's the other problem. We're also having a problem with wildfires. California is having another forest fire right now, and the smoke is going as far as Arizona right now. Yesterday, the smoke made it as far as New Orleans, Louisiana, because outside of our window, there was a smoke full of fire coming from the wildfires in California. See, this is why this climate change has to change, and we need to fix this planet before it's too late.
Too far away from each other for that to happen.
Okay, well, first of all, from our father William Taylor just said a little while ago
I
that
think he has an opinion.
he just said that the forest fires and the smoke is too far away for it to happen, for it to make its way to New Orleans. So if the smoke is coming from the ground, which it was,
climate denialism to say that. That's sort of a denialist way of saying, okay, the climate change isn't real, it's a hoax. And I think that's basically what you just implied.
and by the way,
We're talking to you.
Okay, May. Well, it's just a large distance because it happens in where? California. California, how many states does it have to go to get to here? You got what? You got Arkansas?
You got Arizona, then you got New Mexico, and then you got Texas
and here.
And here.
So it could possibly, yeah, I'm sure it could possibly get all the way here due to the powers of nature, but the odds are it won't be as bad as you would think. But it'll still be bad. It'll still hurt people. It still can get them sick, and of course they can die from smoke inhalation. So that was we already got that smoke inhalation from the cars, the trucks that were driving already. Every day we go out on start that car up, we just start a little, a bolt of pollution, which could kill you. So Let me go. You guys.
Yeah. But
By the way, but otherwise with the smoke, our father William Taylor said it possibly made its way to here. But yeah, think of this: every time it's hot and humid outside, the smoke comes from the ground, and that's the problem if it's hot and humid outside, like today. And another thing I want to tell you is that the smoke made its way to Arizona. People are suffering in the state of Arizona right now because of the smoke from the forest fires in California, and it's all because of climate change.
yeah, and not only that, but it's funny that it's Arizona because cinema is still holding up the budget bill that has several climate change programs that it would invest in. Uh, this is just an example of what could happen, the result of catastrophe and the result of not of negligent behavior. And that is why she better change her mind and vote for the bill that Bernie and Biden came up with, because this is a budget that will have free community college for everyone, universal pre-K. It will have provisions that will have paid family and maternal leave, and it will create several climate change initiatives to starve it off. It's maybe not as good as a Green New Deal, but it's still something, and it's a lot better than the status quo, which is not doing much of anything. And here's another thing: Biden worked on this, and he deserves some credit. But why are you supporting? And this is me directly asking the president on the show. Why are you supporting a pipeline being built in the Dakotas, the Dakota Access Pipeline? This administration supports it, despite its supposedly sharp environmental record. It's wrong. We should be opposing big oil and big pharma's plans that will reshape the country, the world, and the country towards climate catastrophe. And we're seeing it in hurricanes, in wildfires that are uncontrollable, to the water in places like Flint, where we have neglected good drinking water. So we have to do anything we can to try to make a better society that will not involve fossil fuels. And we need to transition away from fossil fuels and away from climate change, CO2 emissions. So that is what we need. And absolutely, the commie position is this: get rid of oil, get rid of all those policies, go straight to renewable energy like windmills, turbines, etc. That is what will work, and not this policy, this practice of people doing hard line policy in regards to support of oil and minerals. And we see it in the policy that we have with the repeal of many climate change regulations by Trump. Donald Trump's EPA was a disaster under Scott Pruitt. we saw the repeal of several hundred needed regulatory oversight over this issue, climate change, because they don't care, and the right doesn't give a single damn about you and your safety. The left we will protect you, and we will support you, people, leaving climate change disaster areas, and we do that by supporting and by inhabiting the Green New Deal, which in this country and is a problem. And the threat is real. I just got an emergency alert, extreme threat alert on my phone. So
it says a National Weather Service, a hurricane warning is in effect for this area for dangerous and damaging winds. This warning is issued up to 36 hours before hazardous conditions begin. Urgently complete efforts to protect life and property, have food, water, cash, fuel, and medications for 3 days. Follow instructions from local officials.
Absolutely, and that's another thing. Follow the instructions, evacuate, do whatever you can, because we're going to get hit
by the Hurricane Ida.
And I think we need better help. And that's the third failure. The second failure is a failure of infrastructure. And thankfully, Biden is on the verge of passing both the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the human infrastructure bill. And the bipartisan bill will help to create new levees and new bridges and roads. And we need better equipment when it comes to building these bridges and these roads. And we need better autonomy when it comes to this issue of infrastructure, because hurricane after hurricane has damaged the infrastructure. We have to keep rebuilding it. We need to promote and make solid infrastructure. And that's one criticism I sort of have of the bill, is it does a little, but it does not totally advance enough money into solid infrastructure, which is basically hard bridges and roads, and that will be strong and resilient to water and to those problems. We don't need infrastructure like Trump's wall, for example, where water can leak through it. It was embarrassing how water leaked through the wall, and the wall itself is embarrassing and is an embarrassment. And I think you would agree.
It as well.
To the country.
But by the way, Trump's wall was a disaster. And here's the other thing. Number one, the water leaked through. Number two, we wasted trillions of dollars building that wall. And that's trillions of dollars that went towards helping against climate change and the poor people.
Well, actually, it was $20 billion, to correct that. But either way, it's a colossal waste of money, of repairs, of money that could have gone to helping the homeless, for instance. We could have given 4,600 lunch to children who are starving under hunger in this country with that money. So absolutely, we need to be helping these people and doing better and using the money in better ways than a wall, which won't do anything to prevent illegal immigration. And it doesn't even address the underground tunnels that the drug cartels in Mexico have under the country. So so I think it shows that Trump dropped the ball again and had the same bad infrastructure. Uh, and I think he never really accomplished anything, really, when it came to the wall. Uh, and we still have lots of illegal immigration at the border. We need to help these people. It is our duty as the number one nation on earth and as a country that has a history of immigration to help those people who are in trouble. That's why I support, for example, in Afghanistan, helping the refugees in Afghanistan who are struggling and who are in trouble right now uh, from the Taliban's resurgence. We should be there supporting those people in helping them leave. And that is the one thing I disagree with the administration's conduct of the withdrawal. But otherwise, I do support the withdrawal from Afghanistan, and I've long been a critic of the Afghan war and of the Iraq war. War should always be one of last resort. Some of the worst of these conservatives are those neocons who believe in war, endless war, the trouble with people going through the streets, and just more fighting. We don't need that. We need to be looking after our country and looking after ourselves, and that's why I endorsed that article in Jacobin, which said that we should not only pull out of Afghanistan, but we should leave the 700 bases we have. We should pull out of them because we don't need that. And it works both ways. China should pull out of their bases as well, because imperialism is always a bad rug of choice for anybody and for any country. And that's all the Afghan war was imperialism and just war, endless war in support of getting the trillion in mineral wealth. And we had the Afghan army that only paid money, that only fought when they were paid. So as a result, we need better funding and we need less funding, and we need to re-endorse it to help people who are in need and who are hunger, who are starving, who are on the street, who are suffering from all sorts of catastrophe in this country, this plutocracy that we have in this state that is the U.S. and even in a few European countries like the U.K., Ireland, for example, abroad. So we need better and we deserve better.
And by the way, moving on with Afghanistan, yesterday ISIS attacked Afghanistan, killing 72 people and injuring 1,000. 12 out of the 72 people were American troops. 60 out of the 72 people were Afghanistan civilians. And the 15 out of the 1,000 that got injured were American troops. 985 out of the people that got injured with Afghanistan civilians. And I'm not surprised ISIS attacked the Kalub airport in Afghanistan yesterday, because ISIS sent out a videos on Sunday saying that they were going to plan an attack at the Kalub airport in Afghanistan and not kill if every damn person or as well as a military service member leaves the Kalub Afghanistan and goes to America alive or not alive. And that's just the problem with the terrorist group ISIS. Now, the Taliban and Al Qaeda are planning on doing the ceasefire. The leader of the Taliban and Al Qaeda is a security guard to the people, as well as the U.S. service members, as well as the terrorist group, the Taliban and Al Qaeda. You got to think of this. People in Afghanistan, as well as us Americans, as well as the war actually, don't trust either of the two terrorist networks, because they known to lie to people and they have known to attack people. That's why they don't trust the two terrorist networks for that reason.
Yeah. Let me play a video, audio of a good speech by Tony Benn, and I want to react to it. Back in 1998, this was on Iraq, and this is what he said.
There are not many people of the generation that remember it. The right honourable gentleman served in the 6th and last war. I never killed anyone, but I wore uniform. But I was in London in the blessed 1940, living in the Millbank Tower where I was born. Some different ideas have come in since. And every night I went down to the shelter in Thames House. Every morning I saw Dockland burning. 500 people were killed in Westminster one night by a landmine. It was terrifying. Aren't Arabs terrified? Aren't Iraqis terrified? Don't Arab and Iraqi women weep when their children die? Bombing strengthened their determination. What fools we are to live in a generation for which war is a computer game for our children and just an interesting little Channel 4 news item. Every member of Parliament tonight who votes for the government motion will be consciously and deliberately accepting the responsibility for the deaths of innocent people if the war begins, as I fear it will. Now, that's for their decision to take. But this is a quite unique debate in my parliamentary experience, where we're asked to share responsibility for a decision we won't really be taking, with consequences for people who have no part to play in the brutality of the regime which we are dealing with. And I finish with this. On October 24th, 1945, and the former Prime Minister from Bexley, Olsen, will remember it, the United Nations Charter was passed. And the words of that charter etched into my mind and move me, even as I think of them. We, the people of the United Nations, determined to save future generations, succeeding generations, from the scourge of war, which twice in our lifetime has caused untold suffering to mankind. That was the pledge of that generation to this generation, and it would be the greatest betrayal of all if we voted to abandon the Charter and take unilateral action and pretend we were doing it in the name of the international community. And I shall vote against the motion for the reasons that I've given the House.
So basically, Joe, the thing is that war is a Channel 4 news item. And it's not something that we should ever endorse in such a way where the country who is attacked should be bartered. We shouldn't have to do this. And I think the country, whether it be Britain, and by the way, that was Tony Benn, who was a legendary MP in Britain, one of the greatest political figures of all time in that country and around and among politicians around the world, he really is just an icon. And he said it right then. He predicted that the Iraq War and to a little extent the war in Afghanistan would be a disaster. Both were disastrous wars where we wasted trillions of dollars in spending so that way our corporate capitalist overlords in the military industrial complex could make as much money, as much Diggy McGee's acts as they could. That is what they did, and that is what we're seeing in Congress, in the U.S., in every country that supported the war. It was never about freedom. It was never about women's rights. It was never about any of that stuff. It was about mineral and it was about oil. And in the case of Iraq, and the former in the case of Afghanistan. And if you look at it, the U.S., all the government is doing is serving big business. Right-wing government is serving big business, and the military-industrial complex and the deep state. They are serving the government. They want government for the corporation, by the corporation. That is not what we need. We need a better society that reflects the tones and of everybody, regardless of who they are and of who you are.
Oh, by the way, everybody, we're going to now move on to the coronavirus pandemic as well as the vaccination way. So this is what we're going to have today. It's going to come right up. And right now, the COVID-19 death rate went up by 1,292 people. New cases, 161,334 people. And the vaccination rate, at least one dose, 61.3%. Fully vaccinated, 52% in general. 38% more until no more masks or social distancing. And until we go back to dating. 37.7% more, or actually 38.7% more until the buffets open back up. Now, let me tell you something. At first, adults were coming down with COVID-19. Now the children are coming down with it and dying from it too. Do you want to know why children are coming down with it and dying from it? Because they don't have a vaccine for children 12 years of age or under. That's why children are now starting to come down with it. And children's hospitals are overwhelmed right now because of COVID-19. We're having a fourth wave of the virus right now. Not only that, we are dealing with two variants of the virus, the Livonia variant and the Delta variant, which is causing the fourth wave of the virus right now. And not only that, children have to go to any emergency room now because they got COVID-19. Now they're going to end up having to put these kids into adult hospitals now, since children's hospitals are overwhelmed because of COVID-19. And COVID-19 was not necessary. I can tell you numerous people that are guilty. Donald Trump's guilty of not doing something about it. The Republicans that are on Trump's side are guilty for not doing something about it. China, for example, I'm going to mention this to you. The Chinese lab, they admitted a couple months ago that they are guilty of causing the COVID-19 pandemic by accident. But you got to think about this. What kind of accident is that if 4 million people are not alive anymore? 4 million people across the world are dead right now because of what they just did by accident. And not only that, they refused to let FBI as well as police go inside the Wuhan lab, as well as Joe Biden. And it wasn't necessary, and they did on purpose to cover up what was happening. This goes as far as 2014 with the COVID-19 pandemic, because Obama was able to see in the future, former President Barack Obama, that a COVID-19 pandemic was going to happen in the future. Hey, did they listen to former President Barack Obama and be prepared for 2019? No. They did not listen to Barack Obama, the former president, and get prepared for 2019. They were in denial, inferior, stupid, and as well as mentally unstable, and refused to be prepared. Because look what happened because they did not be prepared. 4 million lives have been lost across the world because of that.
About that, but I think with the Wuhan lab, maybe there was a leak. Maybe there was problems there when it comes to the Wuhan crises. But we got to ask this question. How much did they know? How much did China know about this? And how much did Trump may have been involved in this? The administration, because there has to be an end game, an end play around Trump calling it the China virus, the Chinese virus.
And that was racist.
It was. And I think it shows that the Chinese community, because everything is locked down in China, as everybody knows, because of what happened. I personally think it was an accident what occurred in the Wuhan lab, but there's no way to know for sure because China hasn't given us anything in regards to information as to how it materialized and how it could have happened. So we might not never know until China releases documents, and of course China has no compulsion to do so.
And let me tell you something. When the people that worked at the China Wuhan lab admitted that they caused the COVID-19 pandemic, they turned around in front of the Federal Bureau of Investigation as well as the police in Biden and told everybody, as well as the Lord and Savior God, of course, they turned around and repented and asked God for forgiveness, and they told the Lord that they would not commit the same mistake again. But this is what the FBI as well as police and Joe Biden warned them. They better not kill any more innocent people. If they kill more innocent people, God will show his wrath. I can see why. Because it's too many deaths, too many people that died, So I can see why God would show his wrath and if they continue to kill more innocent people.
Yeah, and we do have to wonder, how did this materialize? How could this have happened? And a report shows after 3 months intelligence community divided on COVID-19's origin. So even they don't know. They're divided. And it shows absolute problems there. Another thing I want to bring up is the U.S. projects nearly $3.2 trillion budget deficit for this year, down $555 billion. It shows the absolute problem of the Trump tax cuts, it ballooned the deficit, and now it's gone down slightly only because Biden has decided with good men to raise the taxes on the rich, although I don't think that has passed yet, or it has. But I think absolutely, how do we pay for these problems? We do it by instituting wealth taxes. We need to bring back the capital gains tax and these other tax policies. We need to tax Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Because the taxpayers, expect a government that will help them in their in their doing their policy.
And by the way, people across the war, we need to go on lockdown. Do you want to know why we need to go on lockdown? Because too many children are dying of COVID-19 and are not vaccinated. And they don't have a vaccine for children under the age of 12 years of age or under yet. And also, Dr. Fauci said last year that we need to go on lockdown all the way till May of next year, May 2022. And until we get 90% of the population fully vaccinated, people, as soon as after we get 90% of the population fully vaccinated, people, then we can see reopening the country. Then we can see reopening businesses, schools, restaurants, as well as free markets, malls, retail stores, all that type of stuff. And to be honest with you, people shouldn't be going out unless it's necessary. Let's just say, for example, if you have to go grocery shopping, if you have the doctor's appointment, if you have to go to work, or if you have to go to the hospital, all of that is necessary going outside. But if you do not have a doctor's appointment, or if you do not have to go to the hospital, if you do not have to go grocery shopping, if you do not have to go to work, stay inside. Do not go outside until 90% of the population is fully vaccinated, whether you're vaccinated or not. Because even if you are vaccinated, you still got to be careful until 90% of the population is fully vaccinated. Do you want to know why? Because those breakthrough infections. And do you want to know why those breakthrough infections? Because no vaccine is 100% effective just yet. And let me tell you something. The booster shot, that's 100% effective. That's the only shot that is 100% effective. All the other shots are not 100% effective. The vaccine for children, that's not 100% effective either. They can still have a breakthrough infection. And that's the problem if we're not on lockdown right now, people. And it's not registering to you people that not going on lockdown will kill people that are not vaccinated. The children that are inside the hospitals prove it, that us not going on lockdown will kill people. 1,295 children just died of COVID-19 yesterday. That tells you right there that we should be on lockdown right now because not enough people are fully vaccinated. All those deaths are children, and it's not necessary. And not only that, there were 195,000 new cases on children getting COVID-19. All those new cases were children. We're breaking the record of children coming down with COVID-19. We're breaking the record of new cases that are children coming down with COVID-19. And it's not necessary. Like that nurse just said last night on WDSU News here in New Orleans into Walbone Parish. The only way you can help the healthcare system is get vaccinated. Get these children vaccinated. Get everybody vaccinated. Put every country on this planet on lockdown until enough people get vaccinated.
Well, there's no way to lock down the entire world, but although North Korea seems to be doing a good job of that. But I don't support North Korea. Maybe I do support North Korea. No. Yes. Who knows? He does. I don't. Maybe we both do. Maybe we both don't. But anyway, I think it shows that we'll be taking a short break. We'll be right back in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. This is the Commie and the Liberal. Okay, welcome back. I'm back. We're still waiting on my brother, the liberal. I just wanted to say, well, I am a little sorry. We came on a little late. We were about 2 minutes late when we came on the air, so I apologize for that. There are a lot of king, and I think.
Okay,
I will
everybody,
without-
we're back on air. This is the Commie, and this is the liberal. And
Yeah.
by the way, another thing I wanted to tell you that one of our PCPs, Mr. Washington, and of course Victor. Mr. Washington is from the Southern Community Network, and Victor's from Epic Nola. Both of them said earlier today that you don't know when an earthquake is coming. But a hurricane and snowstorm, you know when it's coming, and you know enough to be prepared. But I'm going to tell you something. An earthquake, you can't be prepared because you don't know when it's coming. And by then, it's too late. You're dead.
That's an earthquake.
Yeah, that's for sure. Back when we were living in Lake Charles, speaking of earthquakes, we had an earthquake because of that Phillips 66 explosion. It was a 3.5 magnitude earthquake in Lake Charles, Louisiana. It happened at 9:00 p.m. at night. It was on a school day. It happened on a Monday, the earthquake. And when we were sitting down and watching TV on NBC, for example, the ground shook, and it was an earthquake. It was 3.5 magnitude earthquake. Thank goodness no one was killed or injured from that 3.5 magnitude earthquake. And that's another example of climate change, is the earthquakes, and building all these factories, which blew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Absolutely, and a lot of that's the erosion of the plates, and that is another part of climate change. Is we have the erosion, we have the reduced part of plate in the sands and in the power in these states. And I think that there is problem with a lot of what we see today when it comes to earthquakes and wildfires. I mean, you've got to think that this is problematic for a good, bad reason, because it shows that we have a massive, and I mean big, total a climate in the wealth of this country, and I think we could use a lot of that to divert resources to climate change and climate trouble in this country and in the world.
Everybody that's here in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Missouri, make sure all of you either evacuate or be prepared for the storm on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Since it said on the alert, be prepared and make sure you have food, drinks, cash, as well as candles and flashlights and generators for the next 3 days.
Absolutely.
Because now it just said that's supposed to hit on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
And we might have to go and evacuate ourselves. We maybe might have to go to somewhere else. Hopefully that doesn't put a damper on the show. It might. But we do.
If we can't do our show because we might have to evacuate somewhere else, we'll see you either on Wednesday of next week or Friday of next week. If it does put a damper on our show, or next Monday.
Exactly. And I just hope everybody makes it out safe, and I will try to help and make people safe.
And speaking of Hurricane Ida, it's going to cool down some because it's going to drop temperatures as cool as in the 70s at night. Daytime highs are still hot and humid. 80s and 90s are the daytime highs still. That's another example of climate change. Hot and humid weather, by the way.
Yeah. So anyway, the thing is that in Texas, what's interesting is that the House in Texas, they passed the voter restrictions, and what was a big defeat for the Democrats, who obviously, as you know, went to the Capitol, and it's funny. I had a soda called Dr. Chink from Winn-Dixie.
Yeah.
And it tastes like those wafer cookies that we have.
That's what it tastes like.
And
it tastes pretty good, that soda that we have right now, the one that tastes like vanilla wafers. By the way, the name of the soda brand's name is called Dr. Clark. That's the name of the soda brand, by the way. And by the way, there was a guy, there was a guy 3 years ago that posted the Honda NBC Sports Desk videos on YouTube. NBC found out about it a couple weeks ago and took all of his videos off his YouTube channel because he did not get permission from NBC to post the Honda NBC Sports Desk videos on YouTube. Not only that, the NBC news station, NBC4, by the way, was able to post the Honda NBC Sports Desk videos on YouTube because it's their own NBC channel in New York, by the way. And by the way, our father, William Taylor, is going to be sitting down right now. I'm going to go ahead and sign off right now. Our father, William Taylor, be taking over right now. This is the liberal Perry Williams, and I'll either see you next Monday or next Wednesday because of the storm.
Yeah, again, we might have to evacuate, and that might disrupt the show, obviously, so I hope not. But anyway, there's the liberal leaving the site, and here comes our dad.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Nice talking to you, seeing you.
Have you set up your new show, Talking Hard?
I was actually looking for material to use on it and all that. I have quite a bit more than I realized. So I'm going to begin into it. I would say maybe next week or the week after the latest.
Yeah, it would be nice. And, of course, all help.
No, I appreciate your help and Perry's help. Your mother's help.
It's actually a lot easier to start a channel than you think. I felt when we started this channel, I felt overwhelmed at first because I didn't know what to do at all. But it turns out it was quite easy, and maybe one day I'll be one of those guys on YouTube who's famous and who's doing one of those videos telling everybody how to set up their account.
When I was growing up back in the 1970s and all that, I thought that's when we call it MTV came around, and they had VH1, and I always thought, gee, it'd be great to be a VJ, because it's videos, VJ, and fascinating. And I went for a trip. I'm trying to think which year it was. I think on the year, but somewhere in the 90s. And I went down the Fifth Avenue. Had some delicious Fifth Avenue pizza, Italian style, in New York City. And of course, I took time to go into MTV VH1 to see about filing for a job.
Yeah.
And I did that. Then I went across the street after I was done with that.
Interesting.
One down, and they had a Broadway review, a readout for a part. So I went and I did that too. But before I found out anything, I had moved on. I was out of New York. So who knows? Dream big.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think we need to, now everybody can be a VJ because of YouTube.
Oh yeah, for sure. That'd be great. Everybody come aboard. Let's have some good fun with it. Make it a learning experience about life in general.
Yeah. I do have some great news, and I'm really happy. I could have recorded
Go back down, please. I saw a name. Okay. What are you saying?
I could have recorded my reaction, but I was so happy when I heard this news that moron DeSantis, he was defeated in court by a Florida judge, which ruled that DeSantis' school mask mandate ban is unlawful. So you know what that means? Florida, you're not dumb.
Finally getting smart. Good going. I'm glad. I mean, I lived there. We were pretty smart. Then I left. You guys got a little dumber, maybe. But yeah, but I always came back to bring my smarts. So and now I'm going to be moving there, within the next year, we'll say. I'll definitely bring my smarts with me. I really I respect the people of Florida. Everything they can do. They can take something, make something out of nothing, which is terrific.
Yeah. A Florida judge on Friday knocked down the state orders banning local school boards from implementing mask mandates, saying the sweeping action. Well, that's about it. But
terrific news to start me off the evening with.
So much of the news is bad, especially in what's happening, and we talked a lot about this in the first hour, about what's happening in Afghanistan. And the whole evolution of the Taliban started in the 1980s, and I wish I could play, I'm not sure if I can, but Jeremy Corbyn was on Democracy Now! yesterday, and he mentioned that um, the evolution of the Taliban started with the U.S. paying the Mujahideen to topple Afghan's government. Afghanistan's very popular Soviet-backed government, which was democratically elected, or maybe not democratically elected, but was popular and did very well and implemented a very successful communist program. But of course, the U.S. being the capitalist foil, uh, we always have to oppose communism, which is idiotic. They, and not always, I mean, Pol Pot was bad, and yet the U.S. worked with Pol Pot because we didn't like Vietnam. So at least Ho Chi Minh at least didn't kill thousands, hundreds of his own people. So in the same way, that was brutal.
People, excuse me, people that were involved in the Vietnam War as a soldier, whatever worker, you have. I'm proud to call you American. Proud that you did what you did. No, it wasn't right. I do not go with the war part. I think it was totally wrong. But I am so happy those who could come back came back. Unfortunately, too many never made the trip.
Yeah. So Corbin was on the channel and he talked about it, and he mentioned how it all started with the Mujahideen and it sort of evolutionized itself, evolved, that's what I should say, into the modern day Taliban. And along the way, and also Al Qaeda. And along the way, it sort of led to problems regarding Al Qaeda terrorism, and of course, eventually 9/11 and the World Trade Center bombing. I'm not sure if that was done by Al Qaeda early, or it might have been done by the Mujahideen. But I think you have to look at the problems facing the world, the country, and I think war is something and that should always be a last resort. It should always be last resort. We should always try diplomacy, and if we're attacked, then maybe you could create military action. But if it's an attack against the soldiers on soil we shouldn't even be there, that we invade it, maybe we don't have the authority to fight back. So
we need to leave other people from other countries alone, okay? The cards were dealt something not too great a lot of time about life, who will get this, who will get that, what type of life they'll be in. And it's terrible because too often, it never turns out good. Sometimes it turns out great, but we should work together to make it great for everyone, from your very self to everyone you know and beyond.
yeah. Well, over 4 minutes past the hour, we are in our second hour of the Commie and the Liberal.
Supposedly not supposedly, we have a hurricane heading this way.
Yeah, we
So
talked about
I don't really know the exact time or whatnot. I know it's supposed to be, I think, Saturday or Sunday. or is it Sunday, Monday?
Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday. So everyone, make sure you take good care of everyone you know and everyone in your family, so we can get through this. It's just another problem to attack and overcome. So what are you looking at there?
Our idiotic Supreme Court.
They did something idiotic.
Yeah, they blocked the eviction moratorium. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. Congress should have passed the bill. We knew that this was going to most likely happen. And because the federal government had a lack of authority to do so. But you also have to wonder at the influence of the court with the one right-wing judge that is on that court that sways opinion. You have to wonder what could maybe occur, and this shows that the court, we need to pack the court, and I'll say why. We need to pack it because the Supreme Court is ruling against democracy every time, and they rule against it by having the majority people who are in power. They rule against them, and the Senate is skewed, as I mentioned yesterday, toward 2 days ago. But I mentioned it yesterday as well in this off-year speech, that the Republicans, it's skewed toward the Republicans, the Senate. And we have two presidents, both Republican, Bush and Trump, who were illegitimate. They did not get a majority in the popular vote. So basically, and what I mean by this is this, that they should have had policy. They actually should be considered. And in the case of Bush, he certainly was an illegitimate president because Al Gore won the majority of the vote in Florida. We now know, and Trump lost the popular vote. So we have two presidents who were not voted in by the American people, who the American people did not want. That's how bad Trump was. He actually lost to Biden. So, as a result here, and what I mean by all this is that Trump and Bush appointed Supreme Court justices that did not have the votes by the people, by the public. So that's why the Democrats have the full authority, and they have it to pack the court. And I know people will say it didn't go well with FDR, who tried it himself, and it failed. But I think it's sad that we have the courts that we have today that just are two judicial activists and just don't look like it should. And the whole Constitution should be rewritten in a lot of ways. The Civil Rights Act was upheld by the court because of the Commerce Clause, for example. So we need to write a different constitution that kicks out the Electoral College, that kicks out all these undemocratic measures, and has better day. That has better facts. And I wonder what you would think on Supreme Court saying the eviction moratorium, and that's going to create a crisis.
It's going to create quite a bit of trouble
with over 6 million 0.6 million Americans being on the streets.
Unbelievable. Don't even want to think of it, but it's going to happen. It seems.
It will happen because the court foolishly ruled against it. They should never have done that. You're putting people out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the problem there.
Well, you think with these people going on the street, it's everybody. Grandparents, parents, kids, babies. Come on. Well, let's help one another. Let's give. Let's do. Well, don't let them do that type of thing. Storm the courts. Get something done.
Yeah, exactly. We should have protests. People need to go out. We need to create more justices, and we need to pack the courts strongly so that way we don't get bad rulings and illegal rulings like that one. And I refuse to honor that ruling.
Yeah, it's not totally. It's not going to work.
And if Biden was a president, be like the right's favorite president, Andrew Jackson. Jackson ignored the court orders all the time. I think
I read that.
I think the old saying that Jackson did was I forgot the Supreme Court Chief Justice John Marshall. If Marshall did it, let him enforce it. That's what I do as Biden. I would do that, and I would sign the executive order and do the moratorium anyway.
Hey, you come to think of it, President Biden, if you really think about it, you got everything on your side right now, because the way everything got voted in, the Democrats won over Republicans and everything.
Not exactly. Sinema is still holding up the budget bill, and now there might have to be another set of negotiations. But that's the problem. The budget bill, which was flawless, is now going to be turned into pork, because she's probably going to expect lots of money for her state. But here's the point. It already gives a lot of money to her state. And the Arizona families should be angry, as should everyone else across the country, at her for doing this obstructed behavior, where we have the Senate being class survey, being obstructed the bill, which again would have several climate change initiatives which would help the state of Arizona as well as the country in regards to climate change. You have a budget bill that would, it's not like we're nationalizing things, because that's something we should do, but which admittedly is not that libertarian, but still, the fact that she is still opposing the rest of this way, I think, is wrong, and we need an even better, bigger bill. That's what she seems to want, but the bill is already great for the country and for her state. So her opposition to it makes no sense. And you're opposing paid family and paid maternal leave, which almost everybody, nearly everybody supports that. Uh, the same's the case with uh, uh, the same's the case with free community college and universal pre-K. We need those policies to pass because that will give massive relief to people who need it. And the budget, the only thing it's leaving behind is maybe the hurricane, and I'm sure they'll add more money in the budget for those people who are devastated by the hurricane. And I believe the infrastructure bill gives something like $50 billion to FEMA, so they're prepared. But I don't understand how anybody could not support this stuff. And I think if she doesn't fall in line, Democrats, they need to kick her out. It's as simple as that.
You're totally right on what you're saying, and especially about kicking her out. There's a lot of people we should kick out of office right now, a lot. And I can't believe a lot of them got in, but they did. Now, unfortunately, some of these things last all the way till they die. So, that means they're going to be around a long time. So, regardless of the voting and all that. So.
Florida starts turning on DeSantis. It's just great news. It's the only good news of today. If you look at it, the news, it's bad news. The voter restrictions bill passed the state house in Texas. Obviously, Greg will sign that into law. Republicans are basically cheating the system like they always do. They did that a lot under Obama when they blocked basically everything that Obama tried to do was blocked by the GOP and the Republicans and McConnell and those guys. So they did it then. They were obstruction. Now they're taking stabs at voter rights. And of course, there's the obvious fact that the right is infatuated and owned by capitalist corporations and by those on the rich. And there are some Democrats, we call them corporate Dems, who also are supported by the wealthy and by billionaires. And then, of course, there are the progressives. And when I say progressive, I mean true progressives, not people like even Biden, who are trying to say they are, then they really are not. but the party is really owned by the left flank. The party would never win elections without the left. So that's why even moderates need to realize this and shapen up. They have not. So the other day, to pivot somewhat, the other day I was watching this channel called Decades, and they had on old footage of the 1968 Democratic National Convention, the one that ended in riots, and was easily the most chaotic convention and event in U.S. political history. The footage they showed actually made it seem like it wasn't that bad, because in a lot of other footage and documentaries I've seen have said that it was pretty bad, that it involved thousands of people, that there was rioting, and that it led into the convention hall itself. There were fights and everything, and those seem to be true. But it doesn't seem to have gone as far as what some say it does, at least from what I saw from the chopping wall. That was a chopping wall. That was a okay, surprisingly good.
It's a pretty good movie, actually.
Movie.
I've
movie.
been looking at a lot of
Talking
horror
Horror.
information to start sharing with you listeners out there. I'll be doing it either next week or the week after, okay? Right now, things are just a little all up in the air. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we could be dead by next week.
We're not planning to. Yeah, 100 plus. That's what I
That
believe.
was wrong.
So I always believe that. And I have a few of my relatives have lived till 100 plus and beyond. So, just think positive. So, but yeah, we're getting things all situated. You really gotta take the time. You gotta really put the effort in it. So, I was watching a thing on. It was some type of camp they were advertising on television and all that. And I remember back in high school, I was on the youth conservation corps. What it is your youth, which is a younger age teenager. And what we did was we went to the Everglades National Park, and there was 25 girls, and there were 25 guys. We had a separate bunker hooked up and all that, and we were right by the Army base, which is on Homestead Air Force Base. But anyway, we went every morning, Monday through Fridays. Weekends was relaxation for 6 weeks. I believe that's what we had, 6 weeks. And or maybe it was 8. Could have been 8. It's been a while. So, but the thing is, it was so much, made you so proud, because what we did was we cleaned up the hiking areas, the pathways, the waterways, getting in canoes and all that. And we were surrounded by alligators all the time, just about. So, you really had to watch out for that thing. But nobody got hurt. Everybody had a wonderful time. And it's taught you about what you could do to help the world and working together. So, something you might want to look into. I don't know if they still exist. I guess I should look into it probably this weekend. See what I can find out. And hello to everybody that was on the Everglades trip and all that. We did it, in, I believe it was '76. So, because you did it the year before you graduated, I believe. But yeah, okay, I graduated in '77. So, but wonderful experience, totally. And had a lot of fun singing around the campfire, cooking hot dogs, marshmallow. Just having a good time. Uh, do outings and just enjoy life. We went up and down the Keys the whole time we're there, checking different areas out. So we went to Miami, but only when we were on our way back home. So
Yeah. So another thing, it actually is good news. Out of Germany, the SPD is getting is now ahead of the Christian Dems in uh, uh, Germany. So we have a real case where we could have the SPD winning, and it's a major comeback because the Social Democrats had not done well over the years. And they went down. They last had the lowest vote share in its history. And it looked like Germany's second other major party was really going down in defeat. Um, but it looks like they're winning now. And that's not good because Merkel, who was Chancellor of Germany, she is finally leaving uh, politics and is retiring.
wow.
So the SPD is finally winning. Also, the snap election in Canada. I'm talking to international voters. And wouldn't it be cool if we had? I think I already asked this in one episode, but wouldn't it be good if the president could call an election anytime he or she wanted it? That would be interesting if they could do that.
Yeah, you think they might have a rule like that for the president because he is the head honcho, or she's the head honcho, and that's really something to think about. We get a lot more done, I'm sure.
Yeah. So in
Well, hey, if anybody's out there listening who might remember something I remember, but I don't remember, but if I did, what do you call it? In 1990s, yeah, 1990s, uh, the early 1990s. Uh, I was living in Wilmington, North Carolina. Beautiful, beautiful city, beautiful little place. And I stopped there on my trip. I was going up to New York City, actually, New Jersey. And I went there, stopped off in Wilmington, and I filmed three movies. I was lucky to get on the crew and all. Well, the acting crew, the actors and actors. And I want to say, great hello to people I spoke with and met there. And the first movie was movie with Sam Elliott, and Sam was wonderful. We had a scene together in an auditorium. He was sitting right in front of me. It was amazing. We talked and all that. We were playing like we were at a show. The ballet. To watch. Another person I like to say hey to is ended up going with a movie. I don't know what it's called. I've never found it, but the movie starred Chris Christopherson, and I just want to say hey. And the other person I want to say hi to is let's see, do that. Oh yeah, Tim Matheson. Hey Tim, just took a little while to remember. We did a movie and all that, and we met sharing hellos and all that on the set in Wilmington. We were on a street scene, so it was kind of nice. Yeah, and I do. That's all I like to just say. If they're listening, or somebody knows they're listening, or maybe somebody remembers about the years they were filmed. I look forward to our group, getting something that we can touch base, answer, call in, talk, and stuff like that. We're working on it, to find out how exactly you do that type of thing, and come across with money and see what happens. So it'll probably be a lot easier to talk to too. So, and by then we are getting a little better. Yeah. So, like everything, practice makes perfect. So, and thank you for letting me taking the time to wish well to the actors and so. And hey, Marge Hellenberg, I remember you from the.
Let's not do that.
I remember you from the boat scene. I was the ship's doctor. Yeah, we shared a scene walking down the hall together.
I wonder if Sam Cedar brags about his acting.
I don't know. It's hard to say. And then the movie with Sam Elliott was Susan Day was in it. That's who was in it.
Was created to give expression, validity, and purpose to our spiritual heritage. This is called the supreme work of the individual. In such a nation dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal, racial discrimination has no place. It can hardly be reconciled with a constitution that guarantees equal protection under the law to all persons. In a deeper sense, too, it is immoral and unjust. And to those matters within reach of political action and leadership, we pledge ourselves unreservingly to its eradication. How was that the Republican Party platform? That was how far Republicans have come down to become garbage. The Republicans at one time supported civil rights and actually supported the advancement of African Americans in society. They don't anymore. They're completely owned by a far right, white supremacist base that was cultivated by Nixon, and then to some extent Reagan, and then to Bush, and then who tried to combine it with war. That's the neocon. And to Trump, who doesn't even bother to hide the racism. He just does. So, but leading Republicans took seriously their party's history of the responsibility that went with it. And in the 1950s, Republican President Dwight Eisenhower worked to earn black votes with the support of Democrats who crossed party lines to support him, including and Vice President Henry Wallace. In the face of Democratic filibusters, Ike advocated for congressional actions on the groundbreaking Civil Rights Acts in 1957, appearing to voters of the burgeoning civil rights movement of that era. So, yeah, basically, what happened? Nixon, well, everyone knows, but he basically made the party a racist political party. And it shows he started that trend. And that's what happened. It really is the end of the Rockefeller Republican. He died years ago. And even Republicans at one time supported uh, those parties and those big policies. I mean, if you look at the history of progressivism, it goes all the way back to Theodore Roosevelt. So it shows how bad it is that this is what we get. So, anyway, we're going to take another short break. We'll be right back. This is the Commie. Okay, we are back.
Hello.
It was a short break. This is the Commie and the Liberal.
And Father. Hey.
Donald Trump suggests.
Oh, do we really have to listen to this? Then he suggests, run away, run away. Okay, I'm sorry. It just got the best of me. Go ahead.
He suggested Osama bin Laden, he actually said in an interview, was, quote, not a monster.
No, if he's on the monsters, maybe not a monster. But in life, he's terrible. He's a monster. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I broke in. I got to stop this interrupting.
So basically, this is yet another attempt. We'll be right back.
You're funny. He's funny. That's cool. So I'll give him back. With me, I haven't nodded off sleeping yet. I do that at times.
Yeah.
It's time for my afternoon nap. What do you want at the end of it? Usually 1 to 3. Yeah.
We
2
could
to
end
4.
the show.
I'm just kidding. So, but a lot of times I don't take naps.
We can end the show.
Yeah, well, since everyone's getting stuff ready, for the storms and all, might be smarter to get her sooner started. But hey, we might just stay here the whole time and say, hey, how you doing? So that'd be nice too. I was eating licorice just a little bit ago. Love it. Twizzler, strawberry. So, and the bites. I like the bite stuff they got. Yeah. So, pretty good. Ever since I was a kid, I've liked licorice. And then I was brought up on licorice and Slim Jims. So, we used to get the from the deli, the beef strips to chew on. That was pretty good. My father, he used to be a meat department supervisor. He was in charge of a few different stores. In charge of the meat department. So and he's the one that used to bring all types of foods for us to eat home that maybe we might not have seen. I mean, Mom went shopping and all that, but Dad, just mainly centered on the meats. Yeah, so you never knew what he was going to bring home.
Yeah. 2 California men accused of spraying officers with chemicals at Capitol riot. David Nicholas Dempsey and Jeffrey Scott Brown face multiple charges for their alleged roles in deadly riot. So this is basically another of people who are been charged, and the problem is Trump won't be charged at all.
Why?
For his involvement in the riot, because they say he was not directly involved.
Yes, he was. He opened his mouth. He was the one that put them together. He's the one that said, "Move, I'll be there." I'll be there. He never showed, but they came, and look how many people got killed. I don't want to think about it. And then a rush on our government.
5.
On our government, the main government has some respect and all that. Everybody should have been arrested and threw away the key. Something like that is not apologized for. No way, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We needed to have a better response. There was none that could be done. I think it shows the cowardness that we're not doing enough to prosecute those people.
Hey, hold on. We were just talking earlier about the person. This guy'd be great to set him on. Andrew Jackson, man, he have them lined up, hanging by their feet.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's not go ahead and support Andrew Jackson entirely. He wasn't a good man.
No, he wasn't a good man. You know. Well, we'll say Ulysses man. He was another tough guy on a different way of life.
Yeah, I think, to say the least, this Capitol Hill riot was, and will go down as one of the most infamy moments in history. Yes, and because it was an attempted coup, and I think the riot, um, I think we're just starting to slowly recede, electorally speaking, with the riots' impact on election, because Republicans look like they are going to win the House. And it's kind of sad when you think about it that people aren't voting enough, and it's not all their fault. I recognize that a lot of it's voting restrictions, like the one passed in Texas. But if you got out to vote, it shows you really care about the issues in policy and in power. It shows you care about what's going on in the country, and it shows that you are the type of person who will invoke change in this world. And I think if you get out to vote, if you decide to do that, we could have better outcomes for our kids and for people who are suffering daily. So,
The other day we had an extra special additive to it. We ended up eating French cheesecake, which was terrific. It's my son Trevor's favorite. It's also my favorite. Cheesecake, all you want. That's for sure. And at least the store down here, the we call it, that we go to, they have quite a collection, different types, with different things added, cherries, nuts, whatever. But yeah, it was terrific.
Mick Jagger breaks silence after death of Rolling Stones bandmate Charlie Watts. Jagger took to Twitter to post a photo of his late bandmate smiling while playing drums. It's an unbelievably devastating day for those close to him. He played with Mick Jagger and the rest of the band for almost 50 years. Watts had a background in jazz, added a unique sound that was instrumental to the success of the Rolling Stones. Well, Mick Jagger understandably doesn't have the words today. He's constantly sung praises for the drummer. In 2003 Oral History, according to the Rolling Stones, he talked about the importance of Watts to the band. Quote, to have a drummer from the beginning who could play with the sensibility of Charlie Watts is one of the best hidden assets I've had, because I never had to think about the drummer, what he's going to do. I just say, Charlie, it goes like this, and we'll kick it around a bit and it's done. I can throw him ideas and I never have to worry about the beat. It's a blessing.
Heartbreaking. I want to go and talk to it, I'll start crying. Later, when I get up the gumption, I'll have to read through what exactly different things I can find relating to Charlie Watts and the rest of the Rolling Stones.
Mm. And so it's and so there's been talk. People have been wanting have really been asking this question: will there be another stimulus?
I sure hope so.
And it looks like, again, as I predicted, there won't be one. But there are articles, fake articles off the internet.
You know how many people they've had signed
saying,
to promote it being done? Millions.
Yeah. Trudeau's.
We need it. Everybody needs it. Whether you're the guy at the top of the hill or the one at the very bottom of the hill, you need it. You need it to survive. Show you damn well care.
Well, Trudeau campaign event breaks Ontario's COVID gathering restrictions. So,
And it's totally terrible also with the housing. Taking it away, not allowing this or that. Where there's people, it might be the person walking right by you right now, or maybe tomorrow, and they're in a situation not having a place to stay because of that. Nothing was done to make it happen. And President Biden, please do something. You're the head honcho, you know? Do it for the benefit of the people that like you, that love you, that you don't even know. People that would be proud just to say, hey, ask my president.
yeah.
And people with money out there, millionaires, billionaires, whatever, get on board. Let's work something out with some type of deal, getting so much money for each person, shared by the money makers of the world. Hey, just because you're on the high top of saying, maybe I other people didn't get there, but a lot of reasons and all that. Sometimes people are just born into the money. That's the easy way to get in, for sure. But come on, let's do it for the people. Everybody share. $100,000 would be great for everyone.
Yeah, and meanwhile, as people are starving out of their homes,
How many people do you think are going to die tonight, because of not having the proper place to live and have the proper food to eat?
Yeah, and it must be said, we do that while we give corporate welfare to thousands of big businesses, corporations. We give them billions each year in government subsidies, bailouts, and tax loopholes, all funded to the taxpayer dime and contributing to higher stock prices for the richest 1%. Who own half the stock market, as well as CEOs and other top executives who are paid largely in shares of stocks. Again, this is gross, is bad, it's obscene, and I think we need to get rid of all those subsidies because, and instead concentrate on giving a UBI, which would benefit everyone else.
Why don't we as get together and discussing different laws that we've had passed ever since the beginning of our country and see which ones need to be weeded out that are in that collection of bills and that were passed that shouldn't have been passed. Let's change them. Let's get rid of them. Bring happiness, to being glad just to be alive.
Like Hunter.
Like Hunter.
Yeah. That was an old show from the late 80s, early 90s.
Actually, Hunter's on the repeat channel. I
It
watched
is.
it. Actually, I watched it this morning. It comes on, I think, what, 8 to 9, something, 9 to 10, something like that. It was good though. So, oh, what do you got? I got some good stuff.
Okay, we'll take another third break. Hopefully, our final break. This is the Commie and the Lip. Okay.
Okay. Hey, I was just looking at things when we were off thing. I have, it's called TV Guide Puzzler Book. All the crosswords, unbelievable word search and stuff like that. That's a regular subscription I have. Other than that, I got the TV Weekly, which is TV Guide type stuff. Pretty good.
okay.
And then hold on. I get one of my Remind
We are
magazines.
going to be ending this show.
Mind magazines with Jim Arnaz, and then here it is. We most look through four magazine all year long, and that is fall preview issue of TV Guide.
Okay, so
I just had to say that. You probably wonder, what do they do when they go places? Church was doing something else, but myself, I just had to see these.
yeah, okay, we're going to wrap up the show. Okay, so here's what we need.
What comedian are you? Groucho Marx. Actually, I love the Marx Brothers. Sorry.
Yeah, this is our final hour, and now we will discuss
Sports. Aren't we supposed to talk about sports?
in 28
No, 28 minutes sports.
less than 28 minutes.
Oh, okay, less than 28 minutes. Okay.
There really isn't any sports news.
Not really. The area, the Saints aren't doing so great, but it's only preseason, so it doesn't count yet. So that type of stuff. I can't really be behind it or all that because being together with people should not be. They should be 6 feet apart again. Mask. Get real. We're dying because of people not following the rule. So we need to do it together to accomplish it. Overcoming what we can.
Yeah.
That airline there.
No, that was a.
The other day, my son, Perry, and myself, we were playing backgammon. In our house, backgammon's played a lot. We play chess too, that type, and Monopoly. Love Monopoly. Over the years, we've owned so many different types of monopolies, from the original Monopoly to the Rolling Stones Monopoly. We saw it in Barnes and Noble, and unfortunately, we didn't get it at that time. We'd come back, but then we came back, it wasn't there. It's like I say, sometimes you put things off, you shouldn't put them off, because then they end up not being what you thought you'd get, because now you're not getting it. So, but when we get situated, finally, done with our move and to Florida and all that, would like to get a collection of different Monopoly games then we can find. So that'd be nice.
Yeah.
And Trivial Pursuit, love Trivial Pursuit, especially in the entertainment one. So you look like you're falling asleep, son. Well, we could call it early today.
and we'll take the weekend off
Yeah.
to get re-energized, and then Monday we'll be back on air.
Yeah, that is what we'll be doing. This has been the Commie and the Liberal.
All right, this is Father. See ya. All right, that was good.